we must search our minds. As we keep saying, sir, we know who these bandits are. We know where they are. We know what they want. What is left for us to conclude? If we are going to do negotiation, do it and finish it. If we are going to fight, we fight it to the finish. What is the big deal? We know everything. Why are we covering? Why are we covering all these things? And I want to align myself with distinguished Senator Abaribe. Sir, the issue that must take precedence is who withdrew the soldiers from Maga Primary School, on whose instruction. The world want to know, Nigerians want to know, we that is particularly affected, we want to know, sir. Because if we don't get to the bottom of this incident will be repeating itself on this floor. Rather than focus on what we're supposed to talk about, we go back to say, oh, during 2015, oh, the Chibok girls happened, and oh, we are now rescuing people. People were not rescued at that time. During Chibok, 17 local governments in Katsina were not having parleys with bandits. People in Kebbi were not leaving all the rural areas and coming to only the urban areas to stay. People in Niger were not being kidnapped. So why do we need to? At any time, we need to talk about the present issues of today. We go back to start to look for excuse for our failures of today. I only want to say, let us do the right thing. We're not blaming this government for what they are finding itself, but it is the government in power, and they should do the right thing. What are the right things? We take only one example. The governor of Kebbi said that somebody ordered troops out and people were kidnapped. Till today, nobody in Nigeria knows what happened, and no question has been asked. And we're sitting down here as a parliament, and we turn and we talk. Yet, somebody is responsible. If I'm the commander-in-chief, I will call the army commander in that place and the head of the army and say, if you don't get me the head of this person, who withdrew the troops to put all these children in jeopardy? Then you make an example of him. That is how a country is run. A country is not run on pacification. A country is run on confronting issues.
It has always been calling on security agencies to intervene and to prevent. But as has been noted, Mr. President, we've discovered time without number that our security agencies and agents react to these situations, attempt to rescue abducted victims, and sometimes you never hear anything again until another abduction occurs, and then we begin to hear stories of efforts to rescue them, sometimes bordering on negotiated ransoms and the rest of them. Mr. President, some of these tactics are becoming increasingly obviously counterproductive because it would appear as if perceived or real payment of ransom embolden these bandits to continue in their exploits. And so, Mr. President, I think that the time has come, like the leader has said, for this country to develop a comprehensive security policy that seeks to prevent these acts of banditry and kidnapping rather than reacting to situations where our people and communities have been affected. Mr. President, like I said, here it is Kwara, it is Kebbi, it is Niger States. But of course, we will not forget in a hurry the historic outcry at the killing of over 200 citizens of Yelwata in Benue State.
The devil can come in and make us so confused that we might turn against ourselves and then by default allow the enemy to behave as if he's happy at an upper hand. However, what I think we should do, which under your leadership, even in your statement, you have already encouraged us to come up with such suggestion, is in the light of what we now know, what can we begin to do differently and contribute those ideas to support the executive initiative? One there, for example, is, and you amplified it, even in greater details than any one of us in this house, when you revisited the statement by the governor of Kebbi State. Nigerians are entitled to know, and it is no longer national secret. The commander of that area who ordered that those men be withdrawn, it is to be a national secret to be kept within military cycle. Nigeria should know the name, and the person should be brought to justice under the Terrorism Act. Number two, Mr. President.
Is it the view of the Senate that the issue you just canvassed now, that should form part of our prayers?
Yes.
Those who support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. That is taken. Yeah. We will form part of our prayers.
Mr.
Yes,
President, under your leadership, we have passed laws that impose death penalty on terrorism. This parliament is on record as having done that. Mr. President, I am troubled when, after all the efforts that security agencies and the prosecuting authorities have to invest to secure conviction, because unfortunately the state cannot behave like a mob. So you have to prosecute, follow due process. I am troubled by the conflicting judgment by various high court judges, where the law says act of terrorism, if convicted, shall attract death penalty. No judge has a right to pronounce less than that. Mr. President, we cannot sit here and security questions were raised as to what happened in Kebbi. Why did it happen? Who are we asking? Don't you have Army Committee? Who are we asking? Don't you have Navy Committee? Who are we asking? Don't you have Defense Committee? Who are we asking? Don't you have Security Committee? Mr. President, it is abnormal. And for me to sit here and begin to see my colleagues raising questions that we are the ones to provide answers for. Mr. President is just one president, elected there and the vice president. We are all elected. We are all accountable to the people. Just like Mr. President is elected, we are also elected. And we are also accountable to our constituents. But Mr. President, we need to rejig how we do things. We need to tell ourselves the home truth. Mr. President, it's just like a mirror. You put a mirror in your front, you see yourself, breaking the mirror will not change that image. No matter how you do, what you see is what you get. What you are is what you get. Mr. President, we need to be proactive, and we need to come with a very clear perspective how to deal with these issues.
Fortunately, this president is responsible in terms of the issues of insecurity, as he exhibited by canceling his trip to G20 in order to attend to this very serious problem. I want to really add on what the former Senate President said, Senator Ahmed Lawan, on the way forward. I have been the chairman of Committee on Army in the 9th Senate. And during his leadership, we had, I think, 4 summits on this issue of security. Unfortunately, it didn't solve the problem that time. Recommendations were made and efforts were also made. Distinguished colleagues, let us use this opportunity to give the president or the leadership the necessary support in order to address this very serious problem of insecurity that is expanding to a level where government will sit down and negotiate with criminals or bandits or terrorists. The Nigerian Armed Forces and other security agencies are putting in their best. So, I'm really not comfortable with blaming them. Nigerian Army, for example, is operating in almost 32 states as it is now. They are overstretched. They don't have the number. The whole of the Nigerian Army, up to now, are not up to 300,000. I'm the one. 177. Okay, it is the police that. So, the Nigerian Army is less than 200,000. Nigerian police, less than 400,000. In fact, our security agencies all put together, including civil defense, DSS, whatever we have, it's not up to 1 million. In Egypt, the total population of Egypt is about 100 million. They have 1 million police. They have 500 active armed forces. 500,000. And they have 800,000 reserve. That is Egypt with 100 million. Okay. And distinguished colleagues, in every family in Egypt, if you have an adult that is up to 18 years or above, one of them must be in one of the security services. That is part of their rule. So, the solution is what I have been talking since I was the chairman of Army. There are 4 things that need to be done urgently on a short-term, medium-term, and long-term basis. Number 1 is training. Our armed forces and other security agencies are not well trained for the challenges that we are facing now. The Nigerian Army is trained to fight an enemy that is identifiable. But this time around, they are fighting an unknown enemy. That's why you hear they say unknown gunmen, because the gunman is not known. We have to train them adequately. Secondly, and this is also very, very important, is equipment for the armed forces. Mr. President, as I am speaking to you now, the Army aviation sector, which was strengthened by the current president, the coming of Mr. President changed the dynamics. But he is handicapped. Right now, the Nigerian Army aviation has only 2 helicopters. They ordered for 12.
One, that we should rejig our laws to ensure that the offense of kidnapping is classified as a terrorist act. Those in support of that say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 2, that in line with the provisions of the Terrorism Act, that the offense of kidnapping henceforth should carry the death penalty. Those in support that we should reject, that the leader of the Senate should bring an amendment to the Act to ensure that the offense of kidnapping becomes a terrorist act, and in addition carries a death sentence without any option of fines of fine, and without any discretion on the part of the judiciary. Those in support say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. So henceforth, the leader of the Senate, in the shortest possible number of days, please bring an amendment that Nigeria will henceforth classify kidnapping as a terrorist act, and also classify kidnapping being a terrorist act should now carry death sentence without option of fine. Is that the view of the Senate? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. I think we have so that we don't water down the very crucial decisions we have made today. I want to thank all distinguished senators, because the events of the last few weeks have been very disturbing, both to all Nigerians, to the international community, and even to our children in the diaspora. That the Senate has risen to the occasion today by spending a whole day to discuss this issue, by taking necessary steps today to strengthen Mr. President and strengthen the security apparatus of the nation, is something very commendable. So I want to congratulate all of you and thank you for rising to the occasion, and hope that our resolutions and all our amendments would lead to better security for this nation.